All right, random post, guys, from me to yours truly. Got my sons out here. They playing. But look at this piano. We in Lynchburg, Virginia. I want y'all to look at this art. You got some type of woman, feminine woman. She got a fork. You got a man, maybe a wise figure. Dunbar Middle School. That's a historical black school, by the way. You got some type of, y'all see these ladies. A lot of this art is mixed up. Now look at this sign and symbol here. This right here is Beyt. It's an alphabet. It's an Alef and Beyt, the first two letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And you see these things all the time, everywhere. And I don't think people know where they come from. So if you guys didn't know, in the English language, where we say alphabet, it actually comes from Alef and Beyt. Alef, ox, strength, leader. Beyt, house, in-house. Now, notice how these things are really codexed into statements: ox, strength, leader. So in indigenous culture and in naturalistic writing, when you're making things go from seen to unseen, or you're trying to explain the invisible world, what you do is you usually make a sign and a symbol, and then you implement different motifs of what that means. This is very, very natural. This is no different than a child. You know how you may have a child and they start teaching you what they mean by that word, and you have to recode your start. If he say skaga, he say every time he say skaga, he's trying to get the boat. He's trying to get that certain toy. This is just as simple as how we did it in the beginning, which is why I always bring up Genesis 1, John 1, and Isaiah 46, 9 and 10, because they all addressed how things are established from the beginning and how the end is established according to the beginning, and how things come into being. But once again, Abba Father, the strength of the tent of the Father, the Abba Father, this is actually from alphabet, Alef and Beyt. You will also always see indigenous spirituality rooted all around us, and you'll see it everywhere. Now, people try to argue about language and things all the time, but I think people miss the bigger picture. And once again, guys, I'm George Taylor, the author of Nature of Light. I am Mr. Bigger Picture. If we have a conversation and you want to bring me into it, bring me in if you want someone to add value from the bigger picture. I don't like to get so up close into the buildings and get on the ground and get into these nuancive arguments. I'm 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 feet up. I'm always into the bigger picture of the conversation. So the bigger picture of Paleo-Hebrew, the bigger picture of Hebrew, in my opinion, is just to assess how things come into being and why they are the way that they are, so that we may use this power to go on into the future and create more and more things from substance with a clear understanding of what was in the beginning and why it was the way that it was. Now, when you have the chaotic use of the divine feminine and all of the degrading of that energy and that information, and that also technology that comes within that happens because we've used all sorts of knowledge and information to disconnect us from that which was in the beginning. And we're starting at places that are not the starting point. And so that leads to the patriarchy and in its misuse. We are all a oneness and everything fits together. But to know how things fit together, we must have order, divine order. We must start with spirit and how things go from the seen to the unseen, and the intangible to the tangible. And these things are all around us in very simple signs and symbols. Just as, it's melanated underneath the beings, even with women and birth. And the birth takes 9 months. Yes, son. Oh yeah, that's not a train. It reminds you of a train? Okay. But yes, I'm just doubling down on my point. Alef and Beyt. Alef, the ox, strength, the leader. Beyt, in the house. But let me know in the comments if you've seen this sign anywhere. You probably been seeing Beyt all your life and you didn't know it was Beyt. Once again, I'm George Taylor, author of Nature of Light, and I'm signing out. Bet that.